Voice of God, page 50. The way to ease the burden of sorrow. All of us should endeavor to attain the true knowledge about Brahman. What exactly is this knowledge? It is that there is nothing other than the Brahman. It is the one which appears as these many things. If the mind is continuously after these several appearances, sorrow, inequality between high and the low, and resultant problems will keep coming up. If the mind is turned away from these several appearances and begins to know the one thing which is the cause of all these, thoughts will not wander about and there will be cessation of worries. When there is only one thing, where is the scope for sorrow or inequality? Permanent happiness can be gained in that very state. It is this state which we call jnanam. In worldly life, too, happiness looks like being gained, but it does not endure. How can we make permanent a happiness that is gained from the external? What comes from the external, not being subject to our control, will slip away from us. Along with it, the happiness obtained from it will also vanish. Thus, it is that what is happiness at one moment vanishes the next moment. When the branches of a tree thick with foliage oscillate, sunlight peeps through the gaps that are formed, and the next moment the light is blocked by the same foliage. In the same manner, in the midst of sorrows of the world, a little happiness peeps in and vanishes. Permanent happiness is the realization of the one which is the cause of the world. In worldly life, all people are bound to suffer in innumerable ways. One may think that those who are rich and those in higher position are happy. With such a thought, they may try to acquire wealth and position. But if the rich and the highly placed are asked, it will be known what problems they have. We are sitting on a low platform. If we fall, we may suffer a slight scratch. The rich and the men of status are sitting on the top floor. If they fall, they will suffer a severe fracture and it may even be fatal. Even when one has wealth or status, in between the happiness gained from them, the anxiety that he should not lose his wealth or status is much more than the happiness gained. This is why no one in this world says that he is happy. One who thinks that he is the most intelligent, most honest, most beautiful, etc., also thinks that he has the most suffering. Sorrow is born with us. By our deeds in the previous birth, Purva Karma, we had already sown the seeds for those sorrows. There is no escape from this. But there is a way to bear the sorrows resulting from the deeds of previous birth and remain peaceful. There is a way to avoid accumulating a fresh load of karmas and paving the way for sorrow in the future. That way is jnana, which has been referred to earlier. When due to mental derangement one loses feelings as if being inanimate, sorrow is not felt. The sorrow of the mentally deranged does not take roots and stay. But in that state there is no permanent happiness either. In sleep no sorrow is felt, but there is no awareness in sleep that we are happy. It is only the jnani who is always awake and permanently happy. It is only the jnani who is always awake and permanently happy, not that his body will not experience discomfort, but in his mind there will be no sorrow. The external discomfort does not affect his inner being. When we draw water from a well, we do not feel the load of the pot filled with water as it is under the water. But when the pot comes to the surface of the well water, the weight of the pot is felt. Huge trees which cannot be moved used to be only moved by the force of flood water. In the same way, we should immerse all our sorrows in the water, that is jnana. Even then, the cause of sorrow will remain. But like the pot which, when pulled through the water, is light, the sorrow will become very light. Yogi. Yogi is one who is untouched by sorrow. The cause for sorrow is sin, which is impurity in the mind. If the mind gets cleaned of impurities, it will automatically turn towards Paramatma. It is only by control and discipline the mental impurities can be cleaned. Through proper education and living a life of control and discipline, the mental impurities shall be got rid of before the soul leaves this body. If one succeeds in doing this, the very demise of the body will become the yoga that will unite him with the Paramatma inseparably. How is a yogi to be identified? His mind, which has joined the Paramatma, will not think of entertaining anything else. After that, the mind will even become incapable of any activity. Only in such a state, all problems which have been created by the mind will vanish. On what should one lean to attain that state? He should lean on that from which the mind arose. If the mind joins its source, it will get dissolved there. It will become still. That is the state which is freed from all botherations. Let us take the river. What is its original source? It is the ocean. It is the water of the ocean that gets vaporized and takes the form of river in another place. The river runs tirelessly. Finally, it joins the ocean, which is its source. Does it have its separate identity after that? No. If it is asked whether there is something that takes all our minds and dissolves them in itself, in yoga, in the manner of the ocean, which is the source of the rivers taking into itself the rivers, the answer is yes. Jnanis and yogis, when in the state of samadhi, superconscious state, having dissolved their individual minds and devoid of the awareness of the external, are one with this something. Although it may appear to us that when the yogi is not in the state of samadhi, he has given up that something. In reality, it is an inseparable union between him and the something. Within his self, he will be having the experience of that union. That is why, even if he appears to be conscious of the external, he does not have the desire to have this or that. Even if a little thought comes up that he wants something, he is not a yogi. It would only mean that he has not united with Swami, the Lord. We can talk of the yogi's identity in another way also. When his mind has become permanently united with Paramatma, it should not react in any manner, shall not weep even if a great sorrow were to occur to him. Instead, if the mind gets disturbed even a bit, it means that he has not united with the Paramatma. Many sorrows may befall the yogi. That is what will appear as sorrows to others of the world. But he does not feel the sorrow even one bit. He will be like a log of wood. Even this comparison is not appropriate because the log does not have feelings at all. Is it not? Yogi is the only one who is in a state of full consciousness. He is always in a state of bliss, ananda. Without any desire for this or that, if one remains in a state of bliss, that is the state of yoga. Love will be swelling in him in a way natural to him. He will not have hatred against anyone. He will think that no human being should suffer any harm because of him. Whatever activities he is engaged in as seen by the world, he will not have the ego, I am doing this. Attachment to himself will be totally absent and only compassion will be seen in the activities. Sometimes the activities one undertakes may appear cruel, but deep inside him it will be nothing but love. Parameshwara, the great yogi, carries out destruction in this manner only. To us it may look cruel, but he carries out destruction only for the purpose that the jivas, whatever their sins, can become free from karma and be one with himself. It is like giving us sleep and giving us release from sorrows during that period. Even after the fall of this body, he gives some rest. Just as we get up from the sleep daily and get into good and bad activities, after the fall of his body, we take some rest and wake up in another body. This wearisome journey, the cycle of births and deaths, should not be. If this body falls, we should not enter another body. We should act towards that end. Discipline, self control, great mercy, that is love, penance, prayer, yajnas, charity, all are prescribed to achieve this end. Right from childhood, people should be trained in this way of living. Only if efforts are made to bring up millions of people step by step, somewhere a jnani, a perfect yogi will come up. The coming up of such a yogi is the gain of entire humanity. The antidote to sorrow. If a person falls sick, different persons give different reasons for the same. The Ayurveda doctor would say that it is due to imbalance of the elements in the body. The allopathic would give another reason. Contrary to all this, the psychologist who is prominent these days would see some other reason. Those who practice cures through mantras would say that it is because some offense has been caused to a particular god. The astrologer would say that it is due to a particular position of the planet. Those well versed in Dharma Shastra realize that the disease is on account of deeds of the previous births, karma. It is not only in regard to disease but in regard to all kinds of joy and sorrow. Several reasons are mentioned. We get confused if several reasons are attributed to a simple thing. Are the planets the cause of our joys and sorrows? Or as the mantra cure man says, it is due to an offense caused to the family deity or the village deity? Is such a god to be propitiated suitably? When it is a question of sickness and disease, are we not to go for medical treatment also? If, as some say, it is all the result of the deeds of the previous birth, is one to keep quiet thinking that it will get cured in its own time? Such confusions arise. If we think deeply about the several reasons, we may find that all of them are true. It is certain that the original cause is only the deeds of our previous birth. That alone brings about several results. Rain is only one, but how many things result from it? The earth becomes wet, small insects start flying, the frogs start making noise. Some plants look more green and slow fresh life, while some others perish. All these follow from one thing, that is, rain in the same manner. Karma is the cause for the disease, which has to be cured by chanting of mantras or through astrological remedies or through medical science. In life, there are several other problems apart from disease. Problems which have to be tackled with money power or official status or physical strength by using intelligence are countless. The cause for these problems and sufferings is only karma. According to science, any effect must have a cause. The entire universe is subject to the law of cause and effect and action and reaction. Entire physics explains only this truth. Because the insentient and insentient world came from the same source, the law applicable to the universe would also be applicable to human beings. Our deeds certainly have reactions. The cause for our joys and sorrows is our good and bad acts in the previous birth or in the past life. Sometimes it used to be said that apart from the effects of our own good and bad deeds, such deeds of particular other persons also affect us. For example, if a child becomes sick, it is said that it is the result of the bad deeds of the parents. When it is seen how they constantly nurse the child and how they undergo mental suffering due to the child, this view seems to have merit. Another thing also comes to my mind. If we meet with something bad, it is the result of our enemy's good deeds. For all the occurrences in the universe, the only cause is the great power, Parashakti. It is according to the directions of the Lord that the world operates. He creates a relationship between several things. Nothing occurs in this world which is totally unrelated to something. What appears to us to be unrelated or intrinsically related by the Lord, who then enjoys just looking on. The deed of a person and its effect are the prime reason for the joys and sufferings of human life. The movement of planets, offense to gods, diseases, etc. are secondary reasons. One may seek remedy through horoscope or magical chants or through medical treatment. When the effect of the past deeds gets exhausted, then these remedies will give the beneficial effect. If one has attained spiritual maturity and leaves everything to God and dedicates everything to God and keeps quiet, that is more beneficial than other remedies. That is a great remedy, the true remedy. Whatever course the deeds of previous births may take, it is important to ensure that we do not further add to the load of karma. More than seeking remedy for the past, seeking the Lord's help in avoiding further loads of sins is important. The remedy for the sorrow that has resulted from the past deeds is only meditation on the Lord. The means to avoid sowing the seeds for further sorrow is also meditation on the Lord. The ultimate remedy is the realization of the Advaithic state in which there is no second thing to cause sorrow. In that state, there is neither joy nor sorrow. The truth, which is the base for both, will be self-effulgent. Dvaitham divided by Buddhism is equal to Advaitham. There is a Upanishad mantra which says Brahman is whole, the universe is whole. The universe which is whole came out of Brahman which is whole. Despite the universe which is whole having come out of Brahman which is whole, Brahman remains whole. How can two things be whole? The question arises how a thing can remain whole after another thing which is whole is taken out of it. What is the real import of this mantra? Really speaking, the universe has not come out separating itself from Brahman. It is the Brahman which appears as the universe. Brahman has not created the universe by using some other thing. Nor has the Brahman changed to the universe. Brahman appears as universe, that is all. We see a garland in darkness and think it to be a snake. Now the garland itself appears to be snake. The garland has not become snake. The garland has not created the snake either. When it was thought to be snake, it appeared so holy, so snake only. When it is realized that it is a garland, it is holy garland. Just as the whole of snake arose out of the whole of garland, the whole of universe appears in the whole of Brahman. In other words, in one state the garland is a whole, in another state the snake is a whole. So there are not two wholes. The only whole appears as two different wholes at two different times. When the garland appeared as snake, did its weight increase or what? No. When the appearance of snake goes and the knowledge of the garland comes, does the weight become less or what? Not that too. In the same manner, Whether the universe is added to Brahman or reduced from Brahman, Brahman remains whole and unchanged. In his Ramayana, poet Kamban says that the world is like the illusory snake that is seen in a garland. When the snake is reduced from the garland, it continues to be the whole garland. This is what is meant by the Upanishad mantra that when the whole is reduced from the whole, what remains is whole. Why did the garland appear like a snake? It was because of darkness. In the darkness, that is Maya, Brahman appears as the world. Maya means that which is not there. A thing that is not there, Maya shows the only thing, the Brahman multiplying it in several ways. You may ask whether a thing that is non-existent can do this. I shall reply on the basis of mathematics. We have seen above that Brahman does not increase by adding and does not decrease by reducing. We have seen the strange thing that either way it will remain whole. I shall now tell you a sum of multiplication and division. We divide a number by another number. As the denominator decreases, the remainder will go on increasing. If number 16 is divided by 16, the number is 1. When divided by 8, the number is 2. When divided by 4, the number is 4. When 1 is the denominator, the number is 16. When the denominator goes on decreasing and becomes 0, the number is infinity. Whichever number is divided by 0, the number will be infinity. 1 by 0 is equal to infinity, 2 by 0 is equal to infinity, 3 by 0 is equal to infinity. Even if 1 crore is divided by 0, the number is infinity. It is also the mathematical rule that if the remainder is multiplied with the denominator, we shall get the numerator. That is when 16 by 2 is equal to 8 into 2 is equal to 16. According to this rule, infinity of 0 is equal to 1. Infinity into 0 is equal to 2. Infinity into 0 is equal to 3. This goes on endlessly. 1 infinity becomes 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, 1 crore times, 10 crore times, and infinitum by multiplying itself with 0. This only one infinity is Brahman. The non-existent Maya is 0. That which is not there is 0. Is it not? The very term Maya means that which is non-existent. Therefore, Maya is 0. Just as infinity when multiplying itself with 0 becomes multiples of itself. Brahman shows itself as the world of multiple appearances with the power of Maya. The universe, which is the numerator in the division, may be assigned any number. Whatever number is assigned, when the divisor is 0, Maya, the infinite Brahman becomes the remainder. Since the universe can be assigned any number, that is also infinite. How many varieties are there in creation? In how many ways our minds also keeps running? There is no end to these. It is infinite. In the Upanishad mantra, mentioned in the beginning, when the Brahman is said to be whole, it can be understood as the changeless infinity, and when the universe is said to be whole, it can be understood as the constantly changing infinity. What keeps changing cannot be true. We may assign it any number from 1 to several crores. Whatever value we may assign, the reality is that it is a non-existing thing, which means 0. Here, we have to adopt the mathematical rule that whatever Brahman into Maya is equal to 1. Although 2, 3, etc. are mentioned above as a mere formality, the truth is that when infinity is multiplied by Maya, the result is the universe which is of the form of Maya, that is 0. Advaita says that Brahman, which is infinite, is the only reality. Dvaitham says that the universe which appears infinite is also real. Buddhism says that there is no difference between Brahman and universe and the entire thing is zero. Maya, in other words, what states that Brahman is the reality is Advaitham. Buddhism stops with saying that everything is Maya. Dvaitam says that the universe is real. Brahman into Maya is equal to universe is the equation which we saw above. We can say Advaitam into Buddhism is equal to Dvaitam or Dvaitam divided by Buddhism is equal to Advaitam. The Acharya's commandment. Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada's important commandment to us in the Pitas which have come down in his name is that we should always engage in meditating on the Lord, Ishvara Dhyana, and make others also meditate. What for is this meditation on the Lord? The object is to discover that the Lord has become ourselves or that our true nature is He Himself. How to find out what we are? If you say you do not know, it is enough to meditate on the one whom we call the Ishvara with all the auspicious qualities. Since He and we are the same, He will grant us the realization of His true nature. We send the children to school. If they do not conduct themselves properly, we say that the teacher is no good. Similarly, if you do not conduct yourself in the right way, it will mean that I, who is said to be your guru, am no good. If one has the responsibility to keep a watch over another person and guide him on the right path, and if that person commits a wrong, the blame for that wrong will attach itself to the one who failed to guide him on the right path. The sins committed by the subjects will attach to the king, the sins of the wife to the husband, and the sins of the disciple to the guru. The teacher says the age old code of morals. Generally, when there is a guru, there will be a few disciples. A little sin committed by such disciples will attach to the guru. If one is a Jagat Guru, world teacher, how much sin will get attached to him? The entire sins of the world will become his. The only way to wipe out the sins is meditation on the Lord. It is for this reason that Bhagavad Pada has ordained us, make the people take to meditation. If they do not, you meditate for them also additionally. I am trying to discharge that duty as best I can. I try to meditate on behalf of all of you, but to the extent all of you meditate yourself, the burden on me will be less. In order to cleanse the mind, to bear the fruits of past deeds, and to refrain from committing fresh sins, everyone must meditate as much as possible. If there is a strong determination, time can always be found. If the time spent in idle chat and on newspaper comments is curtailed, time required for meditation will be definitely found, which gives permanent shreyas. Engaging in meditation should be considered the first duty in everyday life. Whether one is rich or poor, whether there is sorrow or joy, sound health or ill health, meditation shall always be done as much as possible. Apart from our practicing meditation, we shall persuade others who are close to us to meditate. One should not get angry if they do not meditate. They should be told lovingly and in a manner they react favorably. If something is told with love, even hard-hearted persons will soften. I have placed before you Bhagavad Pada's commandment to us. Meditate, tell others also to meditate. Whether I make you meditate or not, to the extent that I have conveyed to you Adi Acharya's commandment, engage in meditation. I have done my duty. Because of you, I had the good fortune to convey the Acharya's commandment. You are fortunate to hear it. Because of you, I have profited by doing a part of my duty. You have also heard and come to know the means for realizing spiritual gain. We have gained mutually. Absorb this well in your mind and profit by it fully. May Lord Parameshwara shower His blessings on all so that they can follow the right path and when this life comes to an end, can have the satisfaction and strong faith. We have gained the fruits of having had this life. We can now pass away without fear. With mind having got spoiled, we have committed innumerable sins. If meditation on the Lord has been practiced from childhood, by this time considerable amount of sins would have been wiped out. On the contrary, we are incurring more and more sins. For as many days we meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, we have experienced the fruits of having this life. That is the gain for having taken this life. Each one should ask himself or herself for how long she meditates. Every day we are engaged in several activities, but we would have spent very little time on meditation on the Lord. If we had spent on meditation on the Lord the time wasted in idle talk and other wasteful ways, we need not now fear of the load of sins. Now the load goes on increasing. We have come into this world. Without exception, everyone has to go. Till now, this world has been a place only for taking over loads of dirt. Hereafter, let us make this a place for cleansing the dirt. Holy place, holy waters, body, mind, shastra and other conveniences are available in this world only. We have committed sins by word of mouth, by the mind and by our body. The same thought, mind and deed should be used for doing virtuous acts, and through such acts the sins committed by the same agents should be wiped out. If we so manage that we can say that there is no baggage of sin, when leaving the world, we fly away happily and as light as cotton. We can return to the same place from where we had started. After that, we can have continuous bliss. In Kannada, there is a saying about our Acharya. He will make even sinners a Paramatma. A great soul. Acharya has laid the steps even for one whom we call a bad soul to realize that there is nothing other than the Paramatma and attain that state. Beginning in karma, this goes through bhakti and ends in jnana.